All right, we are going to correct lesson 33, drops. Okay, 12 take away 5 is 7. 16 take away 7 is 9. 49 divided by 7 is 7. 5 times 1 is 5. 9 times 0 is 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 8 plus 2 is 10. 7 times 7 is 49. 3 times 3 is 9. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 15 take away 8 is 7. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. Give yourself a big star if you got all those correct. We're going to add here. We're just going to ignore the decimal and start in the smallest place value, but then we bring the decimal down. We've got 13, 4 plus 1 is 5, 4 plus 1 is 5. You should have $553.67. Okay, we've got minutes and seconds, but we can't take away 45 from 35, so we're going to have to regroup. So we're going to have to get down to 39 minutes, and we're going to trade in for 60 seconds because 60 seconds equals 1 minute. We already have 35 seconds, so that's going to give us 95 seconds. Then we can do 95 take away 45, which is 0 and 5. So we have 50 seconds. And then 39 take away 17, we can do 9 take away 7 is 2, and 3 take away 1 is 2. So we have 22 minutes, 50 seconds. Okay, 4 times 100 is 400. 1 times 100 is 100. 3 times 100 is 300. So we cannot do 6 divided by 7, so we have to go over to 66 divided by 7. 7 times 9 is going to be 63. That's closest. We subtract and get 3 left over. Bring down the 7, and then we've got 5 because 7 times 5 is 35, which leaves us with 2 left over. How many cupcakes are in 1/4 of a dozen? So if there are 12 cupcakes in a dozen, so if I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I'm going to divide my 12 into 4s. So, I want fourths. So actually, I'm thinking I'm going to have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm also thinking 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 1/4 would be 3 cupcakes. So I don't even know how we would write this. We can just write, 3 is the answer. How many cupcakes are in 1/4 of a dozen? I don't even know what you would write here. 3/12? We're just going to leave it with 3 for a star that you have on any spot. 14 ounces is what part of a pound? So 1 pound is 16 ounces. So 14 ounces would be 14/16, which we can divide both by 2, and that would give us 7/8. Simplify this in proper fraction. We end up with 7 divided by 6, which gives us 1 and 1/6. 1/4 and 3/8. Well, if we do our cross multiplying, we've got 4 times 3 is 12, and 8 times 1 is 8. So 3/8 is greater. How many days will it take Jeff to finish a 256-page book if he reads 8 pages each evening before bedtime? So I'm going to take my 256 and divide it by 8 to see how many nights. So I know 8 times 3 is 24, which leaves me 1 left over. Oh, this works out nicely because 8 times 2 is 16 with nothing left over. So the answer would be, don't be confused by this 1 for my last problem. The answer would be 32 days. If the numerator and the denominator are equal, the fraction equals 1. A hippo's weight is about 3 tons. A year has 12 months. Any number times blank, 1, is that same number. All right, bumping up. I've got this nail, which is 6.5 centimeters long. So if it's 1 centimeter longer, it would be 7.5 centimeters long, or 7 5 millimeters. Right, 800,322. In 102,439, the 2 means 2,000. That is 2 times 1,000. Expanded notation or expanded form, we're just going to pull out the place values. We've got 50,000, 1,000, 500, 90, and nothing. Round to the nearest $100. So some of you talked to me about this last week, the rounding. We look to the place next door, but we're going to round to the one we underlined. So everything else is going to turn to a 0. And this is the space that's going to change or not. So in both of these cases, we're going to round up because we've got a 9. So this 8 is going to turn to a 9, and the 2 9s go to 0. This case is tricky because our 9 is going to turn to a 10, but we still have to change these 2 9s to 0. So that's how we end up with 1,000. Okay. Parallel and opposite. Stella asked me about this week. How is that possible? Well, the opposite sides are like this. They're looking at each other. So if these two sides are opposite and parallel, it counts. So A certainly has opposite and parallel. B does not. C does. These two would be opposite and parallel. These are going to be opposite and parallel. These are opposite and parallel. D is a little quirky. They are not parallel. E, parallel. And F, not parallel. Okay, what part of the square is shaded? Write the fraction in the decimal. So we know that this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 100ths, and we would write that as a decimal like this. Write an equation where P stands for the perimeter of a rectangular octagon that is 5 inches on each side. So an octagon has, I'm sorry, I said rectangular and I meant regular. An octagon has 8 sides, like an octopus. So the perimeter would equal, each side is going to be 5 inches. So I could do 5 times 8 because I'm going to just add those up. Or I could do perimeter equals 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to add them all up. P is going to equal either way, 40. Okay, how'd you do?